So if I could take $100,000 and do 4 projects versus $100,000 and do 1 project, that's kind of where you want to finance and do your, you know.
So you use multiple, so would you use the same lender, well, okay, not use the same lender on multiple deals?
Same lender on multiple deals, but never multiple lenders on the same deal.
Because, and you're going to also come into cases where some of the lenders you work with is out of money.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's going to be important that you do have a network of lenders that you can work with.
But what you also, I mean, you will partner up. I mean, you may have a lender, but you may have partners where you're, you know,
Like equity partners.
yeah, where they're getting money, but it's not, you know, they're not financing like the lender is, but you guys have your own little side.
But it's like, okay, so multiple source of funding.
Multiple source of funding for a deal. Yeah, you can be creative. I mean, there's been times where we've had 3 or 4 sources of income or cash for a deal, and you know, 1 lender. You know, it's however you want. You yourself, maybe with your family, can pool together from 10 people, $50,000. And then you guys can do it based on equity. And that's a good way to start this business. You may not be able to, I mean, when I first started, it was always with a partner, you know, trying to get it, and however much I could come to the table with. If I could turn $5,000 into $7,000, that $2,000, a bank is not going to, you know, do that for me. So you got to be realistic. It's not like if you give me $5,000, I'm going to give you back $20,000. I mean, it's not magic. I mean, it's numbers. You know? I mean, some people think that, you know, it's a get rich, like real estate is get rich quick. I mean, it's a grind, and this is not like something you can do once and then you're made. I mean, you constantly gotta take down what you kill. Like, you gotta go through and find projects and always, you know, look into the future. I mean, we're here today looking, you know, looking for more deals and hoping that you guys can bring them.
And John Paul just brings up a very good point. Get that mentality that real estate is a get rich quick scheme, because it's not. You have a boss now, you have a job now. When you get into real estate, you're going to still have a boss and a job, because your boss is going to be that real estate deal, and your job is going to be making that deal go to fruition, to sale. So you're going to always have a boss and a job. So forget that you're going to fire your boss crap, because you're never going to fire your boss, but you're going to have your own state of mind, your own process in which you can close deals, but you still have to work at it like it's a business and keep that mindset. And don't forget that swallow the magic red pill mentality, or you read this book and you'll get rich quick. That isn't the reality of this game. It requires a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of dedication, but most importantly, consistency.
Yep.
That's the key.
It's definitely not a, real estate in the beginning is a very supplemental income. If you think you're just going to jump out and do it 100%, unless you like really grinding and have have it lined up. I mean, insurance, like everything that your job provides. I mean, you're your own company. You got to provide your own, you know, retirement, everything. So it's not just like this fairy tale where okay, even if I make $100,000 on the deal, I got to put away and pay those taxes at the end of the year, which. I mean, I just paid my taxes and it wasn't pretty. So if you're sitting and looking at your bank account and at the end of the year it diminishes, you're thinking like sometimes you're working the whole year just to pay your taxes.
You have a question?
Charles, what's the average cost of staging for you?
The average cost of staging, I think $3,000, $3,500.
I see. Thank you.
Are you using a company for that?
Oh, we use a company, and we also have purchased staging equipment and own it ourselves. The issue with, you know, buying it and owning it, you got to store it sometimes, and, you know, whoever's moving it may damage it or not take care of it. So sometimes it's worth the expertise of a stager.
And a contract for that, what's the average duration?
That's
7 days, 14 days? What?
No, it's usually a month-by-month basis.
Yeah, it is. And let's put it like this: if you're staging it and it's 2 months long, something's going wrong. Yeah, something is going wrong. On average, staging can add anywhere between 10, 16, 17% on the value.
Oh, so staging, you're going to make back the money?
For the most part, most of the time. What the key part is, it can easily cut off an extra 30 to 45 days from the sales process.
Okay.
That's the key part, where you can get it sold quicker.
Okay.
And what staging does is, when someone walks in a house, if they walk into an empty house, they're going to walk in and then they're going to have to do a lot of thinking about how they're going to lay it out. Like, it's going to look nice, but they're like, maybe it's not for me. staging takes out all of the questions, and then they don't even look at the house. They end up liking the furniture.
Exactly.
And then when the staging is out, they're like, wait, this ain't the same house.
In the contract, is the stager's payment based on successful sale?
No, it's
You pay
a
upfront?
pay my stager.
That stager put that furniture in there, they're gonna be paid, regardless if you sell or not.
Okay, okay.
Will we have a like a after action session?
After action?
Once you finish the.
I have a wife. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry.
We all,
Once it's all done.
What's that? So anybody that wants to contact us directly, do you want to give out a number? How are we doing?
Like-
All right. So if anybody wants my number, it's 301
Absolutely.
455-1503, and that's my direct cell number. It's 301-455-1503, because I'm gonna have to get out of here soon.
Right.
But yeah, we're pretty easy, accessible. If you want to talk to us about anything, any deals, any questions, like if you want somebody to go knock on the door with you, or if you're nervous about it, I mean, it might be something like that, where, you know, if you're worried about the introduction or whatever it is, I mean, I can give you pointers, but if you're not comfortable going up to the door, you know, we actually, I mean, we've helped with plenty of transactions that we don't make any money on, because it comes back to you tenfold. Like, we put out a lot of, like what we're doing today, I mean, we're not selling you, we're not upselling on any type of package right now or anything. It's really about giving out the knowledge and hoping you guys appreciate and like us enough to, when you guys come across something, you know, and whatever it may be, if it's any type of transaction, you know, you can just keep us in mind.
Yeah, keep
So that number again is 301-455-1503, and that's John Paul's phone number. And then
443-925-2860.
So there will be a session before you sell the house. 'Cause I would like to see.
Oh, you want
Okay,
to
he wants to know how
completed. Okay, so what we'll do, it may not be another session, but what we can do is, once the project is finished,
We're not gonna have you guys walk on these floors.
We have an open house.
in DC, we don't typically do open houses because they sell so quick. But what we will do is we'll send out the link, and it'll have all the pictures.
Do a virtual tour. We'll do a virtual tour.
Because the problem, I mean, we've done it, and it's not a problem.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
we may even be able to do it, but sometimes with the transactions, it just there's no time or how it's going to work. And then, you know, somebody might feel a certain type of way when they're buying a house and they see 50 people in their house. So, but we'll definitely send out the link when it's complete, and then you guys, I'm sure you'll ride by, you'll see, you know, the change from the
And
outside.
we just talked about the benefit as far as with the rehabbing stuff that we offer with the Real Deal Meetup. On the financing side of it, if you guys need financing for rehabbing, we got $1.5 million available for that. For the mastermind students, you got an additional $1 million with Nate and us, with what we're doing with that, as well as the actual working with the crews and stuff for the mastermind students. So all of that is part of that as well. So,
And that's just our income, and we all have, you know, we have partners, I mean, we're linked up with partners that have $20 million in cash. Like everyone, if we can't do a deal for some reason, if whatever it doesn't work out, we can at least help you find somebody that might be able to do the deal. Not every deal works for us, and we'll pass it on to somebody that it may work for. Not everyone wants to make the same amount or wants to work in the same area, but the good thing about dealing with Charles is his network. And like they say, your network is your net worth. So Charles is a pretty wealthy guy in that, and definitely a good resource for you guys.
any other questions?
I have a quick question. When we were talking about the staging, you said 3,035 now. Do you pay that for 30 days? Like, is it for a certain time period?
Yeah, that's all negotiated. So it's pretty much, they stage it, and that includes, you know, staging and destaging. And then you come up with an agreed upon period, and then anything over that is negotiated how much you're gonna pay. So that 3,300 should be like a month for, like, you know, setup and destaging. And then if it goes over, of course you're gonna have to pay. But it's, you know, it's incremental. It's not another 3,000, you know, because a majority of that cost is like bringing it in, setting it up, and destaging.
The majority of our deals are going 7 to 10 days, so it doesn't get you that 30-day period.
Well, typically, I mean, when we stage our properties, we've been doing, sometimes we do it ourselves, and we pretty much have like the same layout based on how the property that we do, and how it's gonna look, like the colors and everything. But in terms of what you wanna stage and how you wanna stage it, it's gonna be up to you and what you like. But pretty much, if you look on the MLS and look and see what's sold and how it looks, that's pretty much what you wanna go with. I mean, just pretty much copy whoever's selling on your block. If they sold it, then make it look the same, and you should be able to sell it as well.
Yeah, my question is, how do you determine whether this is a good deal for you guys? For example, is there a particular minimum dollar amount that you wanted to get for each rehab deal?
Yes,
And,
it's-
you know, the difference
right.
between the purchase price and the rehab cost and also ARV, is there a particular
Like
percentage
the
that you
20%,
can
like
determine?
20% will be like a minimum.
I'm sorry?
20% will be like a minimum. They say like 70 to 30% is where you want to be. That's your range, like 30% profit of where you are in the price of it. But it's all a case-to-case basis. I mean,
Because a lot of you guys,
if you're a newbie investor and you have an opportunity to make 10 grand and you know it's a solid 10 grand, then that might be worth, you know, your time. It definitely works on the areas that you want to be in. I mean, if I can get a house in Georgetown, I know Georgetown is going to sell as long as, you know, the area is going to sell itself. But if I have a house maybe in a certain area that is a very hard sell, but it could be a potentially good profit, it may sit, you know, 60 to 90 days versus DC where it's sitting, you know, 20 days. So it's all going to be on what transaction you're comfortable with and how much. But, you know, if it's going to sit 90 days, you need to build in 90 days of carrying costs.
keep this in mind. When you get above the 250 range, that Mayo formula is thrown out the window. So you guys were told about the Mayo formula, 60%, 65% loan to value, so on, minus repairs. When you're above that 250 price range, that's thrown out of the water. Because when you're dealing with properties that's $500,000, $1 million, who's to say that $100,000 or $80,000 isn't a good profit? If you use the Mayo formula, you're giving a lot of money away.
Right.
So don't use the Mayo formula on deals that's above 250. Well, that's mainly on the Baltimore market and stuff when you're using the Mayo formula and those types of things.
And it depends on how you're financing your deal. If you're paying $300,000 in cash for a deal,
Right.
you want to make maybe a higher percentage. But if I'm doing that same deal and it's only going to cost me out of pocket, you know, 40 grand, then it kind of makes sense. It may not make sense, you know, on the outside, but it just depends on how your financing is set up and if you're dealing with, like, you know, cash or financing. And that's, like, we usually are like 20% into a deal. Like, if it's 100,000, we're putting, you know, up front, maybe, you know, 20 grand to get the deal started and then funding the first draw. That's if we're financing it. So it doesn't really cost us, you know, the full 180,000. But that is all like a strategy of financing and how much you want to spend. If you have a lot of cash, then you can be a little more aggressive. So it just depends. Everybody good? Because I got to get running.
Yeah, John.
How are you going to finish the basement floor? Because I see it's pretty pitted. And
Yeah.
then
We're going to smooth coat it. We haven't finished. I mean, this is
Just
just,
concrete?
yeah, right now we just took, it'll be concrete smooth and then it'll be like tile on the basement. Yeah, but where we are right now, they had to jackhammer all of the tile off of it, so that's where you get all of those pits.
How much would it have cost for you to dig it out?
To dig out this basement, for us, it would have been about 10 grand. Yeah, but typically 10 to 20 grand is what it costs if you have area ways in the front of the Yeah, there's 2 full bathrooms and 2 full bedrooms. Yeah. So if you want to take another look, if you look in the front, the area to the left is going to be the bathroom, and then you'll see the closets, and then in the back of the house, the area to the far right is the bathroom.
Okay, guys, John Paul gonna have to leave right now. I'm gonna still stick around for a little bit, answer some more questions, and go over some of the marketing stuff. Let's give him a great big hand.
All right, you guys have my number if you need to call me.
Thank you.
Now,
Right.
in regards to the selling of the property, we generally work with we work with real estate agents to sell it on a regular basis that we have in place.
Right. Yeah.
There's gonna be noisy for all
That's
that.
okay.
Hey guys, Charles, can't hear back here. Try to keep it down a little bit.
Yeah.
No, not too bad.
In regards to selling it, we work with regular agents that's on our team that we work with. Okay. So the process that we use with selling it, of course, we do multiple listings. We also do some Facebook retargeting. Hey, keep the noise down.
Hold on. This is a session, guys. There's some good information here. So if you need to talk, please step outside. How many of you heard what I said? Would you put your hand up for me? Just want to make sure. You didn't hear me say what I said, but no, I know you didn't.
Yeah. We do a lot of different marketing. Of course, we do with multiple listing systems. We also do Facebook retargeting on some of our campaigns. And we also do other marketing outside in the actual area. Individuals looking to sell, looking to buy in a particular area. Anytime we buy in an area, we also blanket that area. Take it outside, please. So anytime we buy in an area, we also market in that area. So we blanket this whole area when we come across deals. Because we know if we got a good deal here, we're going to also blanket the area and try to find more deals. We already know what the price points is, so all we got to do is just basically wash, rinse, and repeat and create the same type of deal in the same area.
Now, are you open to using a wholesaler's realtor? For example, I'm wholesaling, but I have a realtor that does all my comps. So are you open to utilizing the realtor that's been there from the beginning?
You mean on the back end of the deal? to sell
Right.
it?
So like if he was doing the comps and actually got everything together, and I offered, hey, I have a realtor that, I've been working with, are you willing to let him list the property?
Typically, I would say no, and the reason why, because we know our person know what they're doing, as opposed to knowing or hoping that your realtor know what he's doing. That's the reason why. We will definitely allow you to work with your title company or work with you in the process of the actual transaction, but we need to have, we know how to move stuff in 7, 10, 14 days. I can't say that about your realtor. So that would definitely be a no. On the marketing side, there's a lot of things you guys can do to help push your properties through this process. We don't usually do open houses because most of the stuff we put out there are usually going within 7 to 10 days. In Baltimore, we do some open houses and properties out there. We do, actually, 2 months ago, we did a 7-day sale strategy out there where we actually had a 7-day auction sale where we actually auctioned the property off, and this was in Catonsville. And we auctioned it off to the highest bidder in 7 days. So we do all kinds of creative stuff to sell properties, especially in the high areas, to get the highest price. Marketing is going to be the key to your business, so keep that in mind. Everything you do revolves around the whole marketing, even finding the contractors. It revolves around marketing and finding contractors. Every one of you should be a part of 4 or 5 different meetup groups, 4 or 5 different reels, because that's going to be your source of information for the people who you want to work with. How to find the contractors, how to find the different tools or information to work with when you're dealing with people in this industry. Who's the good people to work with? Who should you watch out for? All of that can be determined based on your membership and your networking in certain groups. Any other questions? That's it. Going once?
Y'all did good.
Going twice?
Hell,
I guess we didn't make it.
can't let you go that quick. Your targeted marketing. You drill it down so far. Is there something special that you use to drill it down to that aspect? There's got to be, because most of us are running around.
Yeah, the question is, what stuff? And I've told this to I don't know how many times, but I'll tell it again. It's a program called SRDS, Standard Rate and Data Service. SRDS.com. It has 2 different membership levels. You can do a 90-day membership level at $472, or you can do a 1 year at, I think it's $895. SRDS is a database of all the list brokers around the country. So every list broker out there, you'll find an SRDS, which means you'll find list brokers that can allow you to drill down for absentee owners where the person has little or no mortgage balance, but they also have high credit card debt. That's how far you can drill down on some of these lists. Most investors don't know about this. In fact, the majority of them don't know about this. But it's expensive. It's not cheap. I told you it's $400 something for just 90 days use of it. That's just for 3 months. So it's a part of you saying, well, what can I do right now, and will my budget allow me to do it? I would definitely say that one of the most oversaturated lists out there is ListSource.
Okay.
I don't even recommend a ListSource anymore. 2.5 years ago, I used to recommend a ListSource all the time to people who are just doing this business. I don't even, because it's just oversaturated, and the level in which you can drill down isn't very deep. It's usually 2 to 3 levels deep. And the more levels you can drill down, the more likelihood you can find deals. And that's the key to this actual process. The more levels you drill down, the likelihood you can find deals. Because when you're just doing it on the surface, you're going to get a lot of rejection. You're going to get a lot of things that are going to make you say real estate don't work. That's why I like to drill down where I know if I get a phone call, there's a 75%, 80% chance I'm going to get a deal. The stuff that we're getting right now is coming from about 5 or 6 main sources. Bankruptcy filings, we get great deals from that. Probate, we get excellent opportunities from that. Also probate attorneys, absentee owners, Craigslist. Facebook, we're using that, righteously to sell stuff. And our buyers list, we're using Facebook for that as well. Everybody knows about driving for dollars. That's a guerrilla marketing strategy. That's a cheap strategy you can do if you have a very low budget. I've also put on there a 7 steps to find any vacant property owner on the website, realdealmeetup.com. I give you 7 steps that you will be able to use to find any property that's vacant. That's on the website. Just put in there, type in there 7 steps to find vacant property owners. One of the key factors that we use when all else fails and you're trying to find somebody is a skip tracer, an actual property detective that will actually try to find that person for you. If you think that deal is that much profit in it, we use a skip tracer to find that person if we can't find them by no other means necessary. A great source to find people to start off with is PIPL.com. That's a free resource online that you can use to find people through social networking, like Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and so on. And you can find their nearest relatives on that account as well, underneath the free version. We've tried Haynes before. I've purchased Haynes Crisscross Directory before. That's a good one. There's a couple of good ones out there. Haynes Crisscross Directory. All of those are part of what's called CoreLogic, which is part of Real Data Search, which CoreLogic owns Real Data Search.
Charles, could you repeat that list? You said you can find people with high credit card debt.
SRDS.com.
Okay,
That's the actual acronym, and it stands for Standard Rate and Data Service. Any other questions?
So did you win the competition between you and Brian?
I was in Florida, so I lost track of it yesterday, day before yesterday. So I got to check and see if that actual the competition he's talking about is Brian said he could do a house framing in 7 days. So I didn't check the last couple of days because I was doing a Podfest conference in Florida. Over the last
New
couple of
construction?
days. Huh?
New?
It was a gut rehab.
Yeah, it's a gut rehab. I think you guys are about even.
I think it may be high right now. I'm saying.
What's the best you ever did?
I live in Virginia, so, and I noticed you don't.
No, that's my house. I was working on.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't. I got students in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, good. That was my biggest question because most of the REIs in Virginia I found didn't really help you. It was more about charging you money to get started. And when I came across you guys a couple of years ago, I saw that you guys actually give information and try to educate. So my thing with Virginia is, the properties. There's no $100,000 properties in Virginia. So how would I get started? How would I get started? I'm looking to partner with people or do whatever, because I love Virginia, and I think that as far as making profit, if you can find some deals, you can do well in Virginia.
Yeah, first of all, contact me if you come across any deals in there, because like I said, we do have some students in our mastermind group that's doing stuff in Virginia right now.
Okay.
Second of all, how to get started is a product of what niche you want to do. We talked about rehabbing today. You may not want to do this niche. You may want to do wholesaling. You may want to do bird dogging. You may want to do tenant placement. You may want to do, I don't know, buying and holding. It starts off with choosing one niche. Forget that I'm gonna be a rehabber today, but tomorrow I'm gonna be a wholesaler. No, choose one niche and base that niche on your need. I always tell everyone that I talk about that need has to be something related to you and your personal life. If you need money right away, you don't need to be doing rehab. You're looking at a 3 to 6 month project. If you're looking for instant gratification, you're gonna want something like bird dogging or wholesaling. If you're looking for generational wealth, you're gonna do something like buying and holding. If you're looking for large lump sums of income, then you're talking about rehabbing. But you have to have the personal life right now that would afford you to do that strategy. For instance, if you need money right now, you can't wait 3-4 months for rehab to get done. You need to do wholesaling right now. That's what you need to do. But find that one strategy. Stick with that one strategy. Learn everything from anyone on that one strategy, and then jump out there and do it. Most people get afraid to jump out there and do it. They do all the information, they do all the reading, they learn all the books, buy all the seminars, but when it comes to answering the phone or calling somebody to do it, they don't do it because of that fear. One of the things I tell all the people that we work with, you may not have bought a single house out there. Tell them that you have a team that you work with that bought hundreds of houses, which I have. Rehab, hundreds of houses, which I've had. Landlord, hundreds of houses. That's your team. Use that, those credentials as your credentials to help you have the confidence to talk to somebody and not sound like or begin to be that investor that just read a book, just saw costing sheets, and now I'm ready to buy no money down with little or no credit. That was me. That's how I got started. No money down with little or no credit. So that's how I got started. So the key though is finding someone to work with, finding someone, a group to work with or groups, and you gotta grind at it. You gotta really want it. You gotta want to be successful more than anything else. Because don't look at a teacher or a mentor to want it more than you. Your teacher or mentor is not going to want it more than you. You have to want it more than that person, and then you'll be able to be successful in this business. Cliff, I think you had your hand up.
Yeah, just you hit a real sweet spot there. Would you mind sharing with those who might be interested, if they want to rehab and they don't know what they do, but they have money or they have certain resources, would they be willing, would your team be willing to joint venture with them?
Well, we joint venture with all the mastermind students. We will let our team work with the mastermind students who on rehabs, and we'll also let our team do loans on rehabs. That's because we only have so many resources.
So, and that was a segue, Charles. I know you don't do this, but I do.
Well, if you're interested in the mastermind program, just go to realdealmeetup.com and look it up. I'm not here to pitch any program.
I know that, Charles.
So just
you
go there and look it up.
later, but some people want to know about it.
But anyway.
Don't have a hard time beating me, ain't you?
But the key point is that this business do work. Real estate investing can give you and afford you the opportunity that you're looking for. But it's not going to be easy, despite all the stuff you read. You're going to have hiccups. I had one deal, and it was about maybe 10 years ago. I lost $500,000. And that was off of a deposit. Because the city would not give us the variances we need in order to do the deal. That's why I hate Baltimore City. Even though I live it and love it, we could not get our deposit back. It was a $500,000 loss. I could have just as easily said, oh man, real estate don't work. No.
This is a moment of silence.
So, well, once again, the cruise. I want to push this. If you're interested in being on that cruise, realdealmeetupcruise.com. realdealmeetupcruise.com. Up until May the 25th. Tell me.
I have cards,
Up
so,
until May the 25th.
Right.
It only costs you $25 to hold your cabin. Then you pay your next payment. Come up here, Stephanie. First of all, somebody just walked in the room. Stephanie runs a local radio show. Tell them about the radio show. She's a very good friend of mine.
Yes. Good day. The name of the broadcast is called Celebrate Greatness Radio. And we come on every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. And this was honored that we've had Charles Blair come on because he's been helping and empowering the community for well over a decade or more in real estate investing. So I encourage you to do please sign up.
And that cruise is realdealmeetupcruise.com. What's the radio show again?
Yes, it's called Celebrate Greatness Radio. By show of hands, how many of you have the TuneIn app?
What channel?
Okay, if you have tuned in, okay, so it's a Radio 1 station, and it's on Spirit 1400. So it's out of Baltimore, however, because it streams live, you can get it from anywhere, Hawaii, Jamaica. You would just type in Spirit 1400 in the tune in, and we disseminate all types of resources. 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
every day?
Every Saturday. And then also I have my own local internet radio station in Largo. And so we're looking for programmers to come on the broadcast and learn how to host.
Okay. That's Real Deal Meetup Cruise.
I'm sorry, Stephanie Poplar.
And you'll find her on Facebook, because we communicate a lot on Facebook.
Yes.
She's been a true inspiration, especially ladies out there. This woman is a go-getter. I mean, she is really out there. Not to mention, she gave me $5 to say that.
So when is the cruise?
The cruise is
January 17th to the 24th.
January 17th to the 24th.
Next year.
2016. We're leaving out of Miami. It's 8 days. Like I was saying about the details, it's $25 will hold your cabin right now, all the way up until May 25th. We only got 15 cabins left. So $25 will hold your cabin. Your second payment of $250 is due in August, and then your final payment is due in November. So you have up until a whole year almost to pay it off.
You said it's $250.
$250 in the final balance. Now, the cabins start off at $597. That's how, for 8 days. They start off at $597 for your basic cabin, but you can also do an ocean view, you can also do a balcony, depending on that. That's a different price, but they start off at $597.
It's $590.72, but that's based on 2 people being in the cabin. If you don't have a roommate, yes, it's per person. If you don't have a roommate, we have a roommate wanted list going on, so we can,
Yeah, and so that's all set up. We got 15 cabins left, and the best part about it, we're going to have 14 different real estate experts, all gurus, no one selling anything. So we'll be talking about stuff like buying television ads for your real estate business. Talk about stuff like IRA investing. Talking about stuff like marketing your business, wholesaling, rehabbing. Buying tax liens. It's been 14 different people who will be talking, giving seminars on that whole cruise through different sessions that we're going to have.
If someone wants to partner with you and have like a contract on a house, is there certain terms that you would prefer being there or best practices?
When you say partner with me in what way? You mean send me a deal or what you mean?
Well, let's say if I put a contract down and maybe either I'm wholesaling it to you or maybe we partner on the rehab.
The only people we're partnering with on the rehabs are our mastermind students.
So
on other way, we you wholesale us the deal.
Okay.
That would be like that. You just contact me. We'll take a look at the numbers. I got a sheet that I would send you. I got a sheet that I would send you that say, tell me the information about the deal. You send it over to me. You'll get an answer within 24 hours if we want to work with that deal. We won't tie your deal up or anything.
We don't want to work with it.
But there's no terms that like you look out for in terms of you're good with just a regular contract between me and the seller.
Yeah, as long as the numbers make sense to me. All I'm going by is the fact that you have it under contract and that the number that you're trying to sell it to me makes sense. That's all that matters to me. Any other questions? Going once? Going twice? Let's go home.
Thank you.